What Will Smith did tonight was straight bullshit. Props and congratulations to him for winning the Oscar, because damn it, he deserved it. And I love the brother and I'm proud of him, but boy, was that a shameful act for him to commit tonight. To go up on stage and slap Chris Rock like that, he's lucky he didn't get his ass kicked, particularly after the event was over. If not by Chris Rock, to the fellas he had there with him. I mean, damn. Denzel and Bradley Cooper and Tyler Perry having to calm you down, your publicist having to run out and calm you down. I mean, damn, come on, bro. Come on, man. There's no excuse for it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't even try to justify it, okay? Chris Rock said it years ago. Every time black folks doing something, you know who messes it up. I never dreamed in my wildest dreams I'd be saying that about Will Smith. A black man, Will Packer, did a phenomenal job producing the Oscars, and you do this to stain yourself, to stain the Academy Awards? Damn.
All right, guys, so I stumbled across this pretty interesting conversation on CNN featuring washed up female ESPN sports anchors Jemele Hill and Kareem Champion, who, for whatever reason, think that people actually give a damn about their opinions, right? Especially their political and social commentary. I don't think that anybody really cares about what they have to say on any issues whatsoever, but for whatever reason, they keep getting airtime, right? They keep staying somewhat relevant because they say the most outlandish things, okay? So they get a lot more backlash than they do support. So I really don't know why CNN is platforming these two individuals, as again, they don't ever really have anything interesting to say most of the time. But in this case, when discussing this Will Smith Chris Rock drama that involved Will Smith slapping the S out of Chris Rock at the Oscars, they're actually defending Will Smith, okay? And they're defending Will Smith for a reason that should surprise nobody, right? Because one, they're trying to paint Will Smith as the victim, okay? That's their specialty, okay? They're playing the victim card. And the reason why they're trying to do that is because they're trying to say that, well, Will Smith was defending a black woman. They're not really trying to say that what he did was right per se, okay? Or really try to justify what he did, but they are kind of defending and justifying it, right? They're going to say multiple times that, hey, there's no excuses for blah, blah, blah. We're not saying it's right. But they are, at the same time, basically trying to excuse the behavior and to try to justify what he did. Because, hey, reasonable people can't come out here and justify what Will Smith did. Nobody can. But according to their logic, because Will Smith is married to a black woman, he's somehow a victim in this situation to a certain extent, right? That's kind of what it sounds like. So, hey, let's go ahead and listen to this and see what we can take away.
And so I think Jay and I have had this conversation so many times. This story is so layered, and I tweeted this earlier. There is not one person who is right and one person who is wrong. And so many times we want to take sides. And it's just not that simple with this case. I did read the book. I did feel as if he was, and I'm not a psychologist, but you're right, there was a lot of trauma there. And for him to look over at his wife, I'm not a man, but for a man to look over at his wife and see her pain and be at their breaking point, because let's look at his long career. Will, for better or for worse, has not done anything incorrect in his career. No, very few missteps, right, when it comes to Will Smith.
Not that we know of, yeah.
Not that we know of.
Right.
So when you see someone who has been the butt of jokes for a very long time, because of, even when he was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, born and raised in Philly, like his raps were always considered, when he was a rapper, he was considered one of the good guys, if you will. And therefore, sometimes when you're considered the good guy, they make fun of you. And I think...
Like, bruh, do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? They're trying to say that this multi-millionaire, Will Smith, okay, very successful actor, when he got made fun of when he was on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, right? He got made fun of in a TV series where his role was to get made fun of. I don't understand, like, what, like, is this supposed to make it okay? Is this supposed to make it better? Like, what relevance does this have to him slapping Chris Rock and why he did it? I don't understand.
What we saw last night, and I'm not even joking, is a man who was at his breaking point for a lot of reasons.
Yeah. Wait, so a joke is the breaking point. A joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, in her hair being bald-headed. I mean, she's basically not had hair her whole life. I mean, Let's be real. But that is his breaking point, but not his wife sleeping with other men, right? Getting pounded out, right? Getting her cheeks clapped by other men. That's not the breaking point. But a joke is the breaking point. Bro, I don't get it, bro. I really don't. I don't understand it. To this day, I'm still perplexed about how a man who allegedly lets his wife sleep around with other dudes, right? Get banged out, okay, in a open relationship. His breaking point is a joke about her being bald. Bro, this man told Chris Rock, keep my wife's name out your mouth. What he really should be doing is telling his wife to keep things out of her mouth, okay? That is what he really should be saying, okay?
Yeah, and one of the, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley,
Yes.
who I believe also suffers from alopecia. I believe she does.
Correct.
And she immediately posted and then deleted something that said, thank you, Will Smith. Shout out to all the husbands who defend their wives living with alopecia in the face of daily ignorance and insults. She's since deleted the tweet and talked about the importance of nonviolence and how she obviously doesn't advocate violence. And again,
yes, she does. She does advocate violence. She's totally fine with violence. Violence that she agrees with, right? In defense of a black woman, okay? And also when it comes to BLM protests, okay? Yeah, she definitely is totally fine with violence.
nobody is saying that it was okay to slap Chris Rock in the face. Nobody is saying that. But obviously for Congresswoman Pressley, she has spent years now being mocked and derided, and she felt for Jada Pinkett Smith.
Not only that, Jake, you have to actually understand this on an even deeper level than that. For black women, we just watched confirmation hearings with Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, right? We just saw everything that she went through, saw how she was, really lambasted in the public eye. Yep. And we saw all the things that she had to deal with. And she was, she was often lauded for keeping cool and collected. Sometimes when things happen, people don't feel that way. And I think for black women in particular, because I saw what Tiffany Haddish said as well, where she said that she felt very encouraged, if you will, by the fact that Will Smith in this very public setting was standing up for his black wife.
Right. Encouraged because Will Smith slapped a man on, a comedian, by the way, a comedian, live at the Oscars in defense of his wife. So you're saying violence is justified against comedians for jokes? Like, what type of precedents are you setting here? These people are really just saying, like, hey, you can't say anything bad about black women. That's what they're really trying to get at here, right? That's the whole point of this conversation. They want zero criticism of black women. That's just the honest to God truth, right? That's why they brought up Ketanji Brown Jackson, okay, and her confirmation hearing, as if Brett Kavanaugh didn't go through the same thing, right? Amy Coney Barrett didn't go through the same thing. All these confirmation hearings, you see these Supreme Court nominees be grilled and criticized, as they should. They're about to be on the Supreme Court. But again, if you criticize a black woman, oh God, that's terrible, right? You can't do that. And again, this is what they're actually really trying to say subconsciously without really saying it, is that, well, he made a joke about a black woman, and, black women are fragile. You can't say anything about them. If you do, violence is justified. Okay, that's what is happening here.
And that's a protection that black women often aren't afforded. And like you said, it was obviously wrong. Chris Rock shouldn't have told the joke. Will Smith's response can't be
What do you mean Chris Rock shouldn't have told a joke, right? That's a comedian's job, is to make jokes. Again, this is what they're saying, guys. They're saying you can't make jokes about black women, okay? That is what is happening here, because black women are a protected class, okay? You can't make jokes about it. If you do, hey, we might come out here and make the person that committed an act of violence against the person that made the joke, we might say that they're a victim, right? And try to excuse it because he's defending a black woman.
To go up and slap another man in public at the Oscars.
And can you imagine if every time a comedian told a joke about somebody in the audience at the Oscars, they had the right to go up and hit them?
Yeah, like that can't happen.
That will, and by the way, that would never happen. This is a rare instance.
Very rare.
Bruh, I don't know, man. The way y'all talking, it sounds to me like people like you guys are enabling, right? People to do this, as long as it's in defense of black women, okay? Because again, you're trying to make the people out that do this, that commit these acts of violence over a joke, as victims, and kind of justified to a certain extent because of the fact they're defending black women.
And more
But there are
importantly,
comedians who are afraid now that this is going to set. Kathy
Well,
Griffin
that's-
said that this is now comedians are going to be afraid.
I don't think- I don't think
disagree.
so.
I buy it. I
Honestly, I don't know, man. Again, I'm just saying, conversations like this, if I was a comedian, I'll be very afraid, right? Listen to a conversation like this. I wouldn't make no jokes about black women because somebody might come on stage and slap me, and then, people might be defending it.
I disagree. I think the people who are in here saying that it was an assault, but those who are calling for his arrest, saying his Oscar should be taken away, I said the Academy is not in the business to decide whose sin is greater. If you take his Oscar away, then you have to start looking at everyone who's done something wrong. Everyone who has won an Academy, an Oscar, you have to look at what they've done as well. If you decide this is the moment.
Keep in mind, Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. You got to understand. This happened at the award ceremony, okay? This isn't an outside thing that doesn't really have anything to do with the Oscars or whatever. This happened at the award ceremony. So I'm not necessarily sure if this applies, right? Like, at what point, can you misbehave enough at the actual award ceremony where they're like, nah, we can't give you this award here because you did something that's just not acceptable, right? You've disqualified yourself because of your behavior at the award ceremony. Again, it's different if it was something outside of the award ceremony. I will understand this argument, but it's not. He did it at the award ceremony.
Weinstein still has all of his.
Keep going.
Roman
Woody Allen,
Polanski,
keep going.
Mel Gibson, Bill Cosby, all still the members of the
We don't
Academy.
want to even.
Yeah, but this man didn't slap somebody. None of those people slapped people at the award ceremony on live TV. Again, those are, I think, different things.
Open up that can of worms. But the reality is there's no one who wins here. It was a sad night because I think Will, quite frankly, is probably harder on himself today than we will ever be in terms of
I don't know.
analyzing
So
this.
here's the thing. So
I don't know, bro. Will Smith, after the Oscars, he was living it up, right? He was living it up. I don't think he was all that much apologetic, even though he was boohooing and crying when, he was giving his little speech or whatever. I think he was fine, right? I don't think he's going through hard times right now, to be quite honest with you.
one of the couple's children, Jaden, on Twitter last night, right? And that's how we do it. Now, obviously, they have a very strong family unit, and I can certainly understand.
He's a kid.
Well, he's 23, but okay.
He's still a kid.
So tell me, Carrie, how do we get past this? Obviously, Will Smith needs to apologize to Chris Rock.
See, she don't want to hold Jaden Smith accountable because he's basically a black woman as well, right? Even though that's Will Smith's son, I mean, Will and Jada Pinkett Smith, their kids are weird, right? He's basically a black woman. That's why she's defending this. They don't get held accountable.
Right? I mean, he hit him in the face.
100%. And I think everyone knows this who has any type of insight on this. They will have a sit down. But there's a history here that we're not even talking about. I do believe that there's a relationship that's tight and tense because he's tired. He made a joke. Chris Rock made a joke about Jada when there was a campaign that says Oscar's so white. And he said, why is Jada, he being Chris Rock, said, why is Jada weighing in? We don't care if she comes. It doesn't matter, essentially. And I think
that's the clean version, but yes,
that's
I
the
appreciate
clean
it.
version.
I appreciate that.
Right,
Not making a reference to Rihanna.
No,
but-
Rihanna.
It's still a joke, though. Right? It's still a joke. I mean, you should be committing acts of violence against people for their speech, for the things that they say. It's not justified. Again, they keep trying to go over this thing over and over and over again. It's like, bruh, he's a comedian, right? You can't be out here committing acts of violence against comedians for making jokes that hurt people's feelings. That's their job, right? But again, these type of people are the same type of people. They want to erase comedy, right? They don't want any type of comedy that offends, certain minority groups, right? So this is the same cloth that the Dave Chappelle protesters are made from, right? This is kind of how this works.
No Rihanna here. But the reality is that he was tired. I'm not excusing his behavior. I think everyone has fault in this. I do believe there's a lot of layers and nuance that we're not even considering, nor do we have the time to get into.
What does Will Smith need to do?
I think Will Smith probably publicly needs to say something. I wouldn't be surprised if this is another episode of Red Table Talk, if you will, since they've been so
That's the show
transparent.
the show that
Jada hosts. And so they've been very transparent before about issues they face. And so I do think that he needs to say something. If the Academy is going to go so far as to look into action, okay, fine. Don't have him present next year. But as Carrie said, to take away his Oscar is just ridiculous.
It's asinine.
It is completely ridiculous. I mean, I think he can make amends for this, but I do think it's important that people see this in context. realize that people play Will like he's soft.
Exactly.
That's how he's been.
And what do you mean
contextualized
by
as-
that when you say they play him as he's
Because
soft?
as you mentioned, when he was he was the first hip hop artist to win a Grammy,
Yeah.
and in the time of the boom of gangster rap, he's winning for parents that just don't understand,
Right.
And so there's because
People thought he was soft because he wasn't cursing. He wasn't talking about
exactly
dealing
He was-
drugs
he's
or
talking
beating up
about
women.
the summer.
all
Let's
that.
hang out.
And then we have heard about their marital issues
Yeah.
before. They've been brought to light, and people have made him memes, the butt of jokes,
Yep.
and frankly, he probably just got to a point where he's like, I'm tired.
Look, this is the exact same argument. Tell me what is different between this argument right here and trying to justify a school shooter that claims that they committed the act of violence because they were bullied. What is the difference? Right? This line of argument right here is the exact same argument that people use to defend school shooters who were bullied. Well, he was bullied and, he went through this and that in school and he just snapped. He just got tired of it. He just snapped. Right? That's the same line of argument. Right? They're trying to make Will Smith out to be a victim. Dude, you're talking about him winning Grammys. Right? This dude is a world famous actor. Okay? Hip hop artist, whatever you want to call him. Entertainer. He's a victim though. Right? According to these guys. Okay, again, this argument just blows my mind. It really does.
I could do this all day, but I have to take a commercial break. Thank you
right.
so much.
Yeah, I don't know why Jake Tapper bought the Motor Show. I mean, wow. So, yeah, they claim that they're not trying to really make excuses or, say that what Will Smith did was right, but at the same time, they're still trying to kind of defend it. But again, this is, an interesting defense here coming from them in the sense that they're trying to make it out to be about, well, hey, shouldn't have made a joke about a black woman. And if you do, this kind of what happens to you, right? That's kind of what this sounds like to me. So I thought that was interesting. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.